Welcome to the Bikini Things Podcast, where we talk everything from fitness and competing to mental health and living a healthy lifestyle. I'm your host, IFBB Bikini Pro, Laura Marche, here with my co-host, IFBB Bikini Pro, Sammy Jo, and we're so happy you're here with us. Let's get started. How are you, Sammy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It feels like it's been eons since we've recorded.
I know we were starting and I was like, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, I think between like, you know, the last time we recorded it now, I think World War III started, ended. There's peace in the Middle East now. Like a lot of things have changed. It's good to be back. Maybe real quick, because today we're going to talk about, I'm really excited to talk about this, what it takes to turn pro and like what it really takes, along with some other juicy questions that we got. But as a quick update, I wanted to at least mention that I'm like healthy and alive. I feel like that's like one small update. Yeah, because it's something, and it's like I feel very like egocentric being like, hey guys, let me share my update. But I've been kind of this sort of, you know, I would say shell of myself for the last year and a half. And I definitely have been more quiet on social media. I haven't shared a lot of details. The gut health, it was just dragging on so much. And essentially what we figured out as of 1 week ago was I had an underlying secondary issue that was not gut related, that was creating, you know, compounding symptoms, confusing symptoms, lots of changes, you know, creating additional like pain and whatnot in my body. So now having the correct medications, I'm feeling so much better. And it's just like, it's literally like a blessing from God that things are going to be pretty straightforward from here on out. So
yeah, that's super exciting.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel like I'm back. I feel like I'm, you know, gonna not 100%, but it's within my eyesight. So I'm so excited. Yeah.
The light at the end of the tunnel for sure, which is
Yeah.
really exciting.
Yes. And more regular episodes because we were doing so good. And I think honestly, the reason why we haven't been is like my health kind of started tanking a little bit and it got hard for us to get together. Mhm.
Happens.
Yeah, life happened. So how about you, Sammy? So I just gave my little update. What's going on in your world? It's 4th of July week. Like what
4th
have you
of
been up to?
July weekend. Life is lifing. We've had, for those of you who don't know, I've kind of mentioned my stepson, but I have a stepdaughter also. She's 18. She's been staying with us too. So we've had a packed house. There's literally only 4 of us, but
And your house is also like big.
yeah, yeah. But it's more packed than it normally is. So that's been nice to have her. She just graduated high school, so we're kind of helping her navigate through like getting her license, getting her first job, all of the things. So that's been fun. And then just like enjoying life, honestly. Like
Yeah.
this time of year for the last 3 years, I have been in prep. So it's really nice to just be and do life and not have to worry
Yeah.
and all of those things, focusing more on life and like to be a little bit more transparent, growing our family.
Yes.
So we've been dealing with a couple things there. Chris has been working on his fertility protocols. I'm starting to realize that my hormones are just now getting back in check from
Normal.
being in prep. Yeah, I'm actually using Mira. It's called MIRA to track my ovulation, in addition to my ring. And my LH and E3G levels just now started spiking to numbers that I've never seen before.
Good. Yeah, those are, and for those that don't know, this is going to sound funny. For those that don't know, there is more than one kind of estrogen. So
Yeah.
when we say estrogen, there's actually several different kinds. We're using the term to refer to all of them. And when we're doing labs, usually it's only the estradiol that's checked. It's not E3, it's not some of these other hormones. So Sammy, you're kind of diving into that now as you and Chris are working on getting pregnant.
Yeah, so it's been interesting. And like, I mean, Chris is a bodybuilder, so we're not naive to that, you know. So instead of trying for a whole year and then at the end of that year being like, why is it not happening? Like we just immediately tested everything and then immediately jumped into fixing it.
Yes.
So, and like think too, Jacob's 13. So like he hasn't done this for 13 years. Like, so again, like we're just not naive to the fact, right? Like we both know what we've been focusing on for the last couple years, like me being in prep, him just being a bodybuilder
Yeah.
in general. And Chris is also 37. So like testosterone usage is
Yeah, hormones change. Yeah, hormones
exactly.
change regardless of whether we're bodybuilding or not. It's just like Yeah, you like you said, Chris did it 13 years ago. Like his hormones have changed too,
Yeah.
just like yours have.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people that we know waited a year, tried for a year, and then we're like, hey, let's figure out why it's not happening. And again, to each their own, like obviously everyone has a different
Sure.
approach, but we were just like, okay, like we know what we know what that goal is. So like let's just make sure all of our ducks
Yeah,
are in a row first.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
been really nice because it's been a very stress-free process. And like now that I know that my stuff is starting to regulate a little bit more, he's 16 weeks into his treatment as well. So things are just kind of aligning. So
Good,
stress
good,
free, very like, you
good.
know, it'll happen when it
Yeah,
happens type of thing. But
yeah.
that's just kind of where the shift is. So it's been
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. And that's so great too, because I love what you said of just making it stress free, because I think that's one thing too, is sometimes when there's something we want so badly, and whether it's, a bigger family or a promotion at work or competing, whatever, a person, person we're dating, when we get so stressed out and so like wrapped up in it, it can kind of be counterproductive, especially I think with our bodies. Like, how many stories do we know of when a couple who couldn't conceive too, when they just like relaxed, stopped worrying about it, cortisol is probably coming down at that point, we know, because we're bodybuilders. So I love that. Like this kind of stuck with me. Somebody told me too, the analogy of like, if you hold a butterfly, you can't use a fist. Like you can't, you need to relax.
Mhm.
So just, I love that for you guys. Live life. Enjoy. You're right, Sam. You've had literally from 2022, 2023, 2024 was just like one straight competition season for you. And I get that. Like for me, mine wasn't one straight, but essentially the summer of 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, I was on prep that whole time. So essentially, and you got to remember, it's not like prep is like a few weeks, prep is several months long. And then if you have a several month show season, it's like, oops, there went my year. And that's how sometimes too, I think we as competitors, we blink and we're like, oh my God, how did 3 years go by? This was just supposed to be that one season.
Yeah. Especially too, because, and I mean, this could probably be its own episode, but like I told myself initially, like, I'm going to turn pro and that's it. We're going to start trying for kids. And then I
Yeah.
turned pro and my feedback was to jump into a pro show. So then I was like, okay, well, I guess we could put it back. Like we can
Yeah.
hold off. Then I jump into my first pro season and I do pretty decent. And then I'm like, okay, now let's put on some size.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep going.
Yeah.
And like it literally just got up to that point. So I'm like, why am I going to sit here and stress? Like I did that, like not I did this to myself, but like we mutually agreed to put this off. So it's like, what's another couple months, right? Like we're not rushing anything. Like I always told myself, I'm 29. I always told myself I'd be done or at least have 2 kids by the time I was 30. But also when I said that, I wasn't into bodybuilding yet.
Uh-huh.
Just this unexpected great thing, don't get me wrong,
Yeah. Yeah.
place. It's like where I used to think like, oh my gosh, by 30 I needed X, Y, and Z. It's like I'm healthy. I can like there's no time limit. You know what I mean? Where at one point in my life I would have rushed it. Now I'm just like it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the other thing too is I think we've got a lot better science and resources now for fertility than when we were growing up. And you're right, like our desires change as we age. So it's like who you couldn't have known that you're gonna like, I'm gonna learn about bodybuilding in my 20s and it's gonna become like a passion of mine. So I really don't think, even as someone else too, it's like I'm older than you, Sammy. I'm not gonna say my actual age right now, but I'm in my 30s and I want to have a family. And I'm at this point where I'm like, oh shoot, I really need to really focus on making dating happen and doing it with intention. But at the same time, I'm really trying to do it in a way where it's like I'm not scared. I'm not doing it from a fearful place. I trust that if I move with intention and I'm not dragging my feet and I'm putting myself out there, that it's all going to work out. I've had girlfriends without IVF that have gotten pregnant, fairly easily, even at 39. So it's like, I think sometimes as women, we get in our heads a lot about this stuff. And I love what you and Chris are doing. And I would actually encourage any fellow competitors, like couples competitors that want to have kids, especially if you're not, say, in your early 20s and, you don't have all the time in the world, like do what you're doing. Like you guys are being proactive, you're being time efficient. Like, why waste a year just to see, oops, Sammy needed to be on HRT or something to like get pregnant and not know, like, not that that's the case, but, why wait a year wasting your own time when you could just go get couple lab tests or, appointments with doctors and know so much more. And
Yeah.
even outside of that too, like I don't know what all is available because I'm not, I'm not in the place where I'm having kids right now, but there's so much more in terms of genetic testing that's available. So it's like you can screen for, genetic conditions that we didn't even think about in the past. So that can be really helpful and just, reduce the chance that something goes sideways. And yeah, so
Yeah.
you
And
guys are
even
being super
like,
smart.
thanks. And even like, since I was the one in prep and Chris essentially wasn't, he even said like, if he had to say like his only one regret would be him not starting sooner, which is fine. Which is fine. Obviously,
Yeah.
a thought
Yeah.
process behind it. But it's like you said, if there's any couples out there or anybody listening that's like considering it in the near future, like we literally used an at-home test. Like we were gonna go to like a fertility clinic for him to test, but it was like a couple $100 every couple weeks. We literally used, it's called Yo-Yo, I think it
Okay.
is. I'll double
Let's
check
link
and
it.
put like
Yeah.
a
Send
link
me
in
the
the
link.
show
We'll include
notes.
it.
Yeah. And it's literally like an at-home test. You collect your sample, put it on a thing. You literally get a video. Like it literally shows you like a video of like the movement, mobility, and things like that. And then gives you like percentages and stuff like that. So it's like $100 one time. And you basically have like 3 uses out of it. And then you can buy like retests. So it's a great option to just test at home at
Okay.
your own leisure. And you don't have to
Yeah.
spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Okay, cool. Well, I'm excited to see you soon. We'll have to plan something for either like this weekend or next week. But why don't we start shifting into our questions, Sammy? We've got some good ones. We've got a good number of them. We might not even get through all of them today. And the big one, the one that I really want us to hone in on, maybe we save it for last, is what it really takes to turn pro. And we got a pretty juicy question when it comes to PED use and like what it really takes to turn pro. So we're gonna like really pull back the curtain, ladies. We're gonna really talk in detail. And we all know bikini's been changing. So do we want to jump into this one first, Sammy, or do we want to like go through some other questions first?
Let's do some quick,
Let's do some
like
quick ones.
smaller questions,
Yeah.
and then we'll do the
Yeah.
big question at the end.
Cool. So let me pull up my list here. So thank you everyone. Whenever you guys submit questions to me on Instagram, just know they might end up on my Instagram, my personal YouTube, Bikini Things. We appreciate you guys sending these questions. So we got some good ones. One was what was the year of our first show? So for me, my first one was February 2017 Muscle Contest Gold Coast Classic. When was yours, Sammy? What year was your first show?
Mine was March of 2022. It was Fit World in Anaheim Muscle Contest.
So fun. So fun. I got to be there with you. It's the best. Yeah. Sammy won the true novice or novice overall?
Overall, true novice.
True novice.
And then technically, I got like second in the whole show,
Yeah, to the overall.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you did great. Okay, so that was that one. And then let's see. So this is another kind of quick one. When did you decide to get implants and how many cc's? So for me, I don't know about you, Sammy, but I think I always knew when I was younger and growing up that I was always going to want a set of boobs.
100%.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things you kind of know in your head. So I knew growing up, or at least once I was like a teenager and you start thinking about these things, that I wanted boobs. So yeah, I started thinking about it when I was growing up, and then I left it up to my doctor. So I have a really great doctor. He is very familiar with fitness competitors. So I have a 500 cc high profile implant that is subglandular, meaning it's over the muscle under the fascia. And I think they're amazing. I think they're perfect. They never impact my upper body training. My pec muscle was not cut. So I literally feel like it's like the best way to go. It's more complicated. You need a good doctor, but it's like, why cheap out on something with your body? So
Yeah.
that's
When
my
did you
thought.
get yours done?
2017, after my first show when I was like full
There you go, Belle.
surfboard. I literally, Sammy, because I got so lean. I was my first show, and I was a natural athlete when I started competing. So I was like natural, just I was taking animal cuts as my fat burner, which is very highly caffeinated. It's a good fat burner. So my natural ladies, go to your local supplement store. It's a good one. But I went from like B 34A, like small, to just like surfboard Sammy. Like I looked like a longboard. It was like shaped like a longboard.
Oh, yeah, that's so funny.
And I knew I wanted to do more of these. Like back then I didn't talk about it, but I knew in my head I wanted to turn pro. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to keep doing this. Keep seeing myself look like a 10-year-old boy. There's no way I'm getting boobs right away. Like how much does this cost? Where do I get a doctor? So, and I had my doctor, I got really lucky. He was colleague and doctor of a very fit couple I knew. So it's like I had the endorsement from the doctor that went to med school with him, and then I could see his handiwork on the wife, who's just like his Orange County housewife, smoking
Yeah.
hot, gorgeous. And I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to look like when I'm 50, just with
Walking
black
billboard.
hair. So yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, I was the same way. Like honestly, when I woke up from puberty and like didn't have boobs, I just knew like literally from 13 that I would always get boobs. So it was just a matter of when. I like to say I have COVID boobs. I literally got my boobs done March 5th or
No
6th
way.
of 2020. And then COVID hit like 5 days later.
Yeah. That's probably the best timing for like a breast augmentation I've ever heard.
It literally couldn't have been more perfect. And it's
Yeah.
funny because I was still working my 9 to 5 at the time. So I got my surgery done on Friday. I just had like an admin desk job at the time. So, like, really nothing labor intense. So, I literally got surgery that Friday. A post op appointment Saturday because I couldn't take any more time off work. I was back to work on Monday and then everything shut down. So, I got I got to go to my post op appointment, but then I didn't go to any appointments after that until like a year later. But I have 500 cc's moderate plus profile under the muscle because at the time I never planned on competing because it was 2020. It wasn't a thought in my mind. But even then, like, again, like you said, it was perfect timing. Like, I had plenty of time to heal and everything like that. And I still don't think that it ever like impacted or affected my upper body training. So it kind of worked out perfect.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's literally because it's like you got your in-person doctor's appointment and then you literally just get to sit at home in your PJs with the rest of the world for like an indefinite period of time.
Literally called my doctor a couple months later and I was like, hey, are we supposed to do anything? Like, do you need any information? He's like, is everything okay? Like, or do you have any complications? And I was like, no, I don't think so. And he's like, okay, sounds good. Well, I'll talk to you later. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That was it.
Like, all right, I'll see you at your 1 year anniversary appointment.
Literally.
Too funny. Too funny.
It was crazy.
Gosh. So yeah, and I've never regretted it. I think that's a question I get sometimes too. Never regretted it. I was definitely nervous the night before, like I think anyone going into surgery would feel. And kind of questioning too, like, okay, why am I doing this? Is this the right reasons? But as soon as I had them, I was like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm fine.
I woke up crying and the
Like,
lady's like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm just so happy that
oh
I
my
did
gosh.
this. And she's like, okay, sweetie. It was so
Gosh.
funny. I'll never forget that. Like, literally
That's
woke up
funny.
in
Yeah.
happy tears. And this lady's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is
I was
wrong with
like,
you?
wow, okay, these were really important to you. Okay. Yeah. Well, am I remembering wrong, Sammy? But don't the other women in your family, like, doesn't your sister have bigger boobs?
My mom has implants. My
Okay.
sister has a decent size. Yeah. So that
Okay.
was the thing. Like,
Yeah. Because I feel like you got kind of like there was like a
short.
discrepancy. Yeah. Yeah. So then you feel like genetically, yeah, you got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, because I would ask her, I'm like, hey, when did you get boobs? She's like, I don't know. I just like woke up one day with them. So like I would literally wake up every day waiting for boobs and like
Gosh.
it never happened. And
Poor thing.
so yeah,
And you're just like counting down the days to your 18th birthday. You're like, is it gonna happen
literally
yet?
every day, like just crossing off the calendar.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So yeah. We love them. Okay. So this is a funny question. So this is a funny question. This is one of the ones I got on Instagram, Sammy. So maybe we can talk about this. It just says somatropin, yes or no? So for those that don't know, so somatropin is a prescribed growth hormone. There's different peptides and things like that, but it's one of the types of growth hormone you can get. This is a non-androgenic, non-anabolic, non-androgenic PED. So this is something that is prescribed. It's available medically. Typically, it's used for things like growth hormone. Think about it. We have growth hormone in our bodies, and one time my doctor explained this to me, and it really made sense. She's like, "Oh yeah, you naturally have more growth hormone," and I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, you're 6 feet tall," and I was like, "Okay." Got it. So it's one of those things we have, particularly more of it when we're in puberty. It's used medically for those with, say, dwarfism, right? Conditions like that. It's going to be used, say, somebody is born and they're not getting to the typical height, size we'd expect, something like that can be used to help someone. And these are very, rare circumstances. And it's used for things like anti-aging at low doses and whatnot. So it is very popular in bodybuilding. And the rules with something like, I'm just going to talk about growth hormone in general a little bit. A little bit facetiously. So let's recognize this is not medical advice. See your doctor for any type of medical advice. This is really just for entertainment purposes. We're putting these episodes out on YouTube for you guys to entertain yourself and, enjoy the sport of bodybuilding. Growth hormone for guys, like the guys going for Mr. Olympia, Sammy, I don't know if you've ever heard this before. The rule is as much as you can afford. Have you ever heard that before?
Yes.
Yeah. So for the guys going for Mr. Olympia, the rule is pretty much you take as much growth hormone as you can afford. Growth hormone it's not going to give you the same results as an anabolic. And I'm just kind of talking generally, Sammy. I know you know all of this, so this is more to the audience, but it's not going to give the same results as, say, Anavar. So for like maybe those bikini athletes that have heard of Anavar, have taken it, experienced it, like usually when you take Anavar, a really good way you can tell, especially for those without like a lot of development, is like immediately almost their shoulders just pop out, right? Like we see that because what Anavar does, one of the things it does, it pulls water into the muscle tissue. We get a lot of pop. It also, being an oral, it also is pretty good at increasing strength in the gym. So growth hormone, it's going to do all of that, but it's going to do that to like kind of a lesser degree. The results are going to be more subtle. I would argue when somebody's taking growth hormone, they kind of have naturally like a rounder, bubblier look. But again, it's not going to do even as much as like Anavar will do. Like even a 2.5, 5 milligram cycle of Anavar will likely do more for you than growth hormone would. And growth hormone can be really expensive, especially if you're getting it prescribed. That's why the joke is like, it's as much as you can afford because it's expensive. And essentially, it's just going to kind of augment your overall growth. What growth hormone does, it causes non-specific cell growth. So something like somatropin, it's going to cause cell growth, muscle, bone, ligament, everything. But when you're taking it at a low dose, it's more just kind of anti-aging because as we age, a lot of our, functions and, things like levels of collagen, et cetera, are not the same. Something like growth hormone is going to give you a little bit of that like rejuvenation, right? Because it's going to stimulate more growth, things that were happening more so during the younger years of our life.
Yeah.
Women can also use it higher dose. So what I would consider probably higher dose for a woman would be anything like, 1 IU or higher. One is not crazy, but that's what you'd see for bodybuilding. For just general like anti-aging longevity, I would say, a woman's probably taking half an IU a few days a week, something like that, maybe. And I've heard girls taking as crazy as stuff as, 4 to 10 IU a day, Sammy, but recognize that, 10 IU of growth hormone a day, you wouldn't really be able to take that 7 days a week. That wouldn't be safe. But something like that could cost, that's a cycle that's going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. So again, for our bikini competitors, those that are just kind of curious, a low dose anabolic or other options, even just like TRT, that's probably you're going to get more results and it's going to cost a fraction of what growth hormone would cost. So obviously read up on these things. So it's somatropin is not so much yes or no. If you're at the highest levels, I would say it's it's a yes, but it's like a yes in addition to your base cocktail of whatever you're gonna run. It's kind of on top of that. I do see one thing I have seen, and this does concern me a little bit too, Sammy. Like I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube of girls talking about their steroid use and stuff like that. Some of these girls are really young, like Gen Z in their 20s. And I think some young girls, which I would kind of argue against this, are promoting growth hormone, like young women, like in their 20s, are promoting it as something that's not androgenic. But I don't really think it's worth it when you're young. You've already got growth hormone in your body. You're probably not going to really need it if you're in your 20s. And let's realize too that if we're causing non-specific cell growth, and everything is growing, if you have any tumors, any cancer cells in your body, which most of us do, but remember our body and our immune system are very good at daily killing those cells as they detect them. If you have any of those going on, the growth hormone can also increase the growth of that. So if you have a tumor, if you've got some cancer cells, growth hormone is going to augment that growth too, in addition to your muscles. Can also cause organ enlargement too, right? So if we're like using abusive doses, more of like, that high level, Mr. Olympia competitor, it's going to cause organ growth. Like, let's be real. That's why some of these guys, they're dying from, heart attacks, organ failure. And a lot of that is going to come from the anabolics, but the growth hormone is also going to do that too. So, and it's when it's multivariable, it's not like you could pin it down and say, oh, it's because they were taking testosterone. It's like, no, they're taking a cycle of 8 different compounds. You can't isolate one and say, oh, that was the issue. It's like, no, it's the fact that they were doing this for a long period of time. And it's, we know that these things have real risks. So that's kind of the basic overview on somatropin. Is there anything you feel like I missed, or maybe anything listeners would be curious about there, or at least our audience would be curious about?
I feel like that explained it really well without like over explaining it or like deep diving
Yeah,
it too much.
yeah. Yeah. And I think we'll probably bring back some episodes with my doctor, Dr. Singler, and we can do more like intensive medical type episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the point that you made to where it's not a yes or a no, it's like an on top thing and then like an alternative to it essentially.
Yeah. In something like that too, I didn't use anything other than for growth anabolics, et cetera. I didn't use anything other than Anavar to win my pro card. Growth hormone is one of those things, like newer ladies, I wouldn't really recommend it. It's expensive. It's not going to do that much. There is a risk of cancer growth. So like, why are we, versus like, think about it, right? Like high level, that's what growth hormone is. If we're a bikini competitor and say like a 2.5 or 5 milligram prescribed Anavar cycle is what probably going to give us muscle growth. The risks, your voice might start cracking. You might get some acne, some facial hair growth, but guess what? You stop that Anavar right away. You hear your voice crack, you see, you don't like the acne or whatever, stop taking it. All that's going to go away right away. Haven't done that much if you're truly doing a low dose of real Anavar.
Yeah.
So,
and I
it's
think
kind of,
too, if you're going to a doctor that is not super familiar in bodybuilding, they are going to jump to a conclusion of, you want to build muscle? Okay, yeah, here's this. Because they're looking at it from just
yeah,
like a generic medical
yes,
standpoint, not an
yes.
actual bodybuilding standpoint. So I feel like that might be something more commonly prescribed by a doctor, whereas like Anavar might not necessarily be a doctor's first choice in a
Yeah. Anavar is harder to get because there was a federal ban, but there are still ways because it's legal overseas, it's made pharmaceutically, so there are still ways, like people, believe me, like I hear and see a lot, so there's a lot you can do. I would be a little surprised if a doctor went straight to growth hormone and that person is not even on TRT. I would be a little surprised. What is a very effective stack, again, when you put growth hormone with an anabolic, that is a very powerful combination. Because what the anabolics are doing, think about it, they're really augmenting our recovery. We're going to recover faster. We're going to grow more muscle tissue. They might help us feel a little stronger in the gym. And then growth hormone is just really kind of giving that a boost. So it's like kind of boosting that additional effect of growth, muscle growth, cell growth. And then if we're also eating in the right way, we're training in the right way, we're taking an anabolic, those two are powerful together. So I would be surprised. I would think most doctors would actually just go straight to like TRT, most likely for muscle building, and then growth hormone as a secondary or nice to have. Also, just from a cost perspective, like testosterone is like a fraction of the cost that somatropin is. So I would be very surprised. And I would honestly question the doctor's like familiarity with fitness if that's what they were recommending. So yeah, cool. Well, I think we covered that one. Let's see. So we covered the CCs. Okay, this is kind of related, or at least another PED question. And then we've got a fun bikini question I want to ask too. So this was a question I got, and I've heard this recently. What can you do to help grow your hair back following Anavar? So Sammy, do you have thoughts on this one?
Yeah,
I've got some too, but
I've never ran into this personally, so I'm really just kind of taking this of like I
it's
had
kind
it
of rare.
and I'm trying to grow my hair back in general from chopping it all off when I was younger.
Yeah.
So like again, this is just experience from wanting natural hair growth, not necessarily the loss from Anavar. But two things that I've read up on. Nutrafol, I hear, is absolutely amazing. I'm like really sad because like I can't take it because it actually affects fertility. So if
Yeah.
that is something you're interested in using, but you're also on like the path to fertility, I would suggest not using it. Another thing that I have been using is the Mary Ruth's liquid multivitamin plus hair growth. So it's that bottle. Um, of
It's a
like
liquid vitamin. Nice. Nice. Yeah.
I've been taking that. I have like the mango peach flavor. It's not delicious, but like, if it does the job, it does the
Send
job.
me, yeah. Send me the link, Sammy. I'll
Yeah,
check it out because
absolutely.
even just a liquid, that's kind of nice because it's bypassing your liver, so probably better absorption of the nutrients. Yeah, love that.
Who was it? Tori Brady posted it the other day on Instagram too. She uses it and her
Okay,
hair is like absolutely beautiful.
love it.
So I've been hearing like so many great things. So I've been taking that. Again, I have extensions, so like I don't really know like how
Yeah,
growth is actually happening, but I do feel like
yeah.
I've been having to get move ups quicker than normal, which means my hair's growing. So
Yeah.
I just have that.
Yeah. No, that's all great info. And actually, yeah, related to the last question. So one thing growth hormone will do, especially at lower doses, it will help with like hair growth. Our hair loss is not super common, but it happens. I haven't had it happen to me, but it does happen. And that's partially because a lot of these anabolics, they break down to what's called DHT. And so DHT can cause hair loss. That's why we see a lot of guys with male pattern baldness and bodybuilding. They're taking a lot of anabolics. There's a lot of DHT being generated. So for women, you're right, Sammy Nutrafol is great. There's also a supplement that we could look into that might be safe for pregnancy. This is one I love and I'm obsessed with. I'm not currently taking it, but I've used it for years. It's called Viviscal, and it's like a kelp based over the counter supplement, and it's a pill, and what it does is it prevents your hair from falling out. So basically what it does, it prevents hair shedding, so your hair grows better because it literally can't fall out of your head. So I've used that over the years to help get my hair nice and thick and beautiful for bikini. I have extensions as well, but my hair is basically the same length as my extension, so it's just more for like fullness. Like my hair is like here, and then
Mhm.
there's the you're right. Nutrafol, Viviscal, we'll look at that one. There's another one that also is not, I know it's not safe when we're trying to get pregnant, but minoxidil, and that's one that men can use as well. It's a topical, and I believe it's also a pill. Finasteride is one men can use, but that one is not FDA approved for women, not safe for women's hormones. So that one is not available. But the main thing is, too, again, ladies, if you're taking Anavar, and especially if it's a lower dose, we really shouldn't, ideally, we're not having hair loss. But the other thing is like discontinue it immediately. If you're starting to notice issues with that, it's a sign that, okay, maybe you are getting maybe this is a side effect that you're more predisposed to. Some women are going to be more predisposed to acne. Some are going to be more predisposed to vocal changes. And it all just comes down to our genetics. So like, let's say you have genetics for, male pattern, female pattern balding. You're going to be more likely to lose hair. Like that's the reality. So remember too, that your use of these compounds is going to dictate the side effects. If you're noticing the side effects and you push through for 3 more months prepping, like girl, don't expect to have beautiful hair by the end. You're going to make that sacrifice. Like if the hair is that important to you, don't take it. Change the prep plans, use something different. So everyone is different when it comes to this stuff. So it's not common. It does happen. Biotin. So I would say biotin, Viviscal, Nutrafol, minoxidil. Those are all topicals we can use. And then I would say just like good, but just hair practices in general, right? Not washing too often, keeping your scalp clean from buildup, etc., massaging your scalp so there's blood flow. Work with hairdressers too. What I've also seen, like I remember, this was not even in bodybuilding, but I remember having a coworker who I think from stress or something, she started losing hair and she would get like little like one-off extensions like in here, like one bead, and it would be like pieces. And the other thing too, guys, like a lot of bikini pros have lost a lot of hair. Some of them wear wigs. Many of us have, like myself, like Sammy, have extensions. So recognize too, ladies, like some of us have a lot less hair than what it actually looks like. Okay. Some of us are hiding the fact that we might be partially bald. I'm not talking about myself, but who knows? I could go bald one day too. So
Yeah. And like literally anytime someone tells me like, oh my God, I love your hair, I'm like, thanks, it's fake. Like I am so real about it. And like it is like my hair used to be this long at one point in my life. And like I literally made the stupid decision. That is my one life regret. Like I don't regret
uh,
much, but I made the stupid decision to cut my hair up to my shoulders.
oh
And then
gosh.
it just never grew back.
Yeah.
So like this whole like bob trend, I'm like, bye.
Yeah.
Not me.
No,
Could never
no,
be. Made that mistake
no,
once. Or like
no. That
anytime
was
someone posts,
the bob trend. No, that was the forced haircut that my parents made me have in the 90s. So I would look like Demi Moore in Ghost, and I looked like a boy. I'm not doing it now as an adult.
No.
No,
Anytime
that's why
someone,
I'll never have short hair again. I was forced to have short hair as a little kid. I looked like a boy. I got called a boy, asked if I was a boy sometimes, and I hated it. No way. Gen Z, the bob haircuts, the low-rise jeans, y'all do not understand. Like some of you guys, some people can pull it off, but most can't.
yeah, it's funny
So,
because anytime someone puts a poll on their story, like, should I cut my hair? I respond to the poll and message them and
huh?
say, no, this was my biggest regret in life. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just projecting my own PTSD on
No,
other people, but
it's
like,
honestly probably good that you do, Sammy. At least you're warning them.
I will die on that hill.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't
you're a
cut
real
my hair.
friend. You're a real friend. I hate to say it, but being a real friend sometimes is telling people stuff they don't want to hear,
100%.
you know? So, and even if we're just Instagram friends,
Literally.
shoot me straight. Oh my gosh. Okay. So that covers, yeah, hair loss and Anavar. I think that's a pretty good cover. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about this one. This is a good one, Sammy. Okay. The question is, any suit regrets? What's your best advice for suit selection? So first of all, the person that sent this, I'm going to send you. I have my own little bikini picking out guide with obviously featuring Toxic Angels bikinis, but it's a guide I made. It's got a bunch of pre-approved suits. It was also, I would say it's inspired. It's not the same. It's heavily inspired by the Team Atlas guide. So Team Atlas also has a beautiful bikini guide. So if you're a Team Atlas athlete, you've got an awesome guide. I took inspiration, but I made my own, like Laura's more athletics, additional colors. I'm a little bit more flexible than James. James is very specific, which I love too, but I'm a little bit more open-minded. So I'm going to send you that guide. The main things I would say as far as regrets, and I'll be curious to hear yours, Sammy, because I did your first suit. So hopefully no regrets. But for mine, my first suit was burgundy, which I thought was a good choice. And I do think it was. I looked at the timing and I had a sense I could have gotten my period on my show date. So I do like red. Red's my favorite color. It was kind of a triage situation, I would say, for my first show. So I picked burgundy. My first coach, I was his first bikini client ever, which I didn't know. He didn't know I needed to order a suit. I didn't know I needed to order a suit or when or where. And luckily, Dale just happened to be friends with Mary from
Mhm.
Toxic Angels. He got in touch with her. They put me in touch with Margaret, who got me my first bikini. We did a rush order, burgundy bikini. It fit me great. But Tarek told me in my feedback after my first show, like, a little more tie-ins, little tighter abs, like your suit hair makeup was good. Different suit color, try blue or green, verbatim. So I was like, okay, got it. Next show, did a green suit. That one I still have. It's Kelly green. I love it. I really want to do whenever I'm on stage again, I would love to do like a bright green molded top suit. I think that would look so killer. So other than that, I've had no regrets. I think the main thing for me, I've been around so long, ladies, that my first suit too, like in addition to maybe the color not being the best, although I do think it was kind of a good choice, I did end up getting my full on period on my first show. Like when my clients ask me about these things, I'm like, babes, I've lived it all. I've lived it. I've seen it. I've experienced it all. Like I got like a heavy full on period day one on my show. So I'm kind of glad I had the burgundy suit actually. But in hindsight, the suits were so low back in the day. Toxic Angels has done an amazing job coming up with new cuts. I think Margaret is the best. I think just in terms of suit makers. And obviously I'm biased, but I think the fit of Toxic Angel suits are the best. And again, ladies, I'm biased, but I see the suits. I could go to another brand. I could shop from another brand. I have the money. This house is mine. I choose to stay with Toxic Angels, right? I've only ever worn Toxic Angels. It's for a reason. The cuts of the other brands are not as good. And if you are my posing client or you're a client of mine and you're asking me to shoot you straight, I'm going to tell you, don't go with those brands. Go with Toxic Angels because the cut's better. It makes a difference. Like we've seen the breakdowns at the Olympia level. Like remember when James used to do all these breakdowns of the suit cuts and how the T-shaped thong does not look good and it needs to be more rounded on the glutes. So the main thing for me is just my suits were so low back in the day, but they all were. I think they all were. And so over time, the bottom coverage, like that actual front coverage is higher. So that's the main thing. I don't think I have any regrets otherwise, Sammy. And I'm going on a tangent, so I'd be curious to know what are like your suit regrets or what do you think?
I don't have literally any regrets. I think in terms of bikini, like in terms of suits, I've had like the best experience.
I gave you the experience I wish I had, Sammy, and all of your suits have been like literally perfect.
Yeah, that's literally how Laura and I met. I signed up for an in-person fitting and it ended up being at Laura's house. And then I had like been back and forth with like a posing coach at the time. It ended up falling through. So like I literally looked at Laura and I was like, hey, before I go, like, do you by chance know any posing coaches in the area? She's like, me. And I was like, okay, great. Can I come tomorrow? And then like we literally
Yeah.
immediately booked the session
Yeah.
and it was all history
It
from
was
there.
destiny. Yeah. No, it was awesome. No, I mean, I could tell right away because it was you and Chris came to my house.
Yeah.
So it's like I met both of you guys. I could tell you're like sweet, solid people. I remember you guys knew Paige Riley. She used to live out here. She used to be one of the Toxic Angels athletes. So like, yeah, I just think looking back, I'm like, this was all destiny. We were supposed to meet. You won your True Novice overall, your first show. You turned pro the next year. Like, it's just in the rest is history. So it's been such a fun few years together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I honestly have had just such a great experience, like from the jump in terms of suits. Like, again, to your point, like they were just naturally low back then. I think my first cut is like a regular. Now we're like extra high plus. So it's like an inch and a half, 2 inches higher than my first suits. Like,
Yeah.
that was just like naturally how they were back then.
Yeah.
Like even then, like it had great coverage. Like I never got feedback saying like, oh, your suit bottoms are too low. So it was like nothing like that.
Yeah.
It was just the style back then. But yeah, I wore my same suit for literally up until like I turned pro in the same exact suit. I did my first pro season, and it wasn't until I started working with Toxic Angels that I got another suit.
Yeah.
So it's like for two things. If you're the type of girly that wants a new suit for every show, by all means, show out. If you're on a budget and you feel like you can only afford to buy one suit, wear it until it falls apart. And then when it falls apart, send it back for a connector change. Like you don't have to, once you find the color that works
Yeah.
best for you, stick with it. Like if you
Yeah.
look like, I think I don't have the other one, but like all of my suits are a different shade of blue. Like there are 3 stones that I put on every suit. It's just a matter of the fabric changing and it's a different shade.
Yeah.
Like once you find that color, like it doesn't have to be something
Yeah.
different every
Yeah.
single time, unless that's your personality and that's what you want. But
Yeah.
like more so in like what's the word I'm looking for? Like modest, I guess. Like if you're being more modest about like buying a suit and spending the money, it doesn't have to be
Yeah,
right.
another option, a couple options too, because I've had a few clients like recently that have done this. So one, there's a few options. You could rent. Like that would be probably the lowest cost option, rent or maybe borrow from a friend. The guarantee on the fit is not there. The color, the style might not be something you like, but for like the budget, for sure. And then on Toxic Angels websites, there's also the pre-owned, the pre-loved suits, right, as part of the buyback program. So that's another way to make it more affordable because Sammy, you're actually the opposite of me. So you have like the same color, like in all your suits. I change it like every time because I've got black hair and I'm like, I can. And I've also had at times, like when I was coached by Jamie, she was very opinionated. She's like, I want you in red, blue, or teal. There were no other choices. So it was like only those options. I couldn't wear purple. I couldn't wear green. So I like to switch it up a lot. And you can use the buyback program to get money back for a suit, get a new one. So maybe as the styles are changing, your tastes are changing, you can always switch it up. So that's a good option. And then another one is do a heavy scatter suit, which isn't fully stoned, but from the judge's perspective, from the audience, it's essentially going to look fully stoned. It's probably what, like 80% coverage, 75% coverage.
Yeah.
Is that fair? So yeah, so from the audience perspective, it looks like it's fully stoned, but it's not, and it's a few $100s less. But then you can always mail that suit in and upgrade, add the rest of the stones.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely.
an option I recommend sometimes. And then this just kind of jogged my memory. So these are not my regrets, but these are things that I would discourage anyone out there who's ordering a suit right now for current NPC bikini or wellness or, figure fit model. This doesn't really apply because the suits don't have stones, but connectors that are too thick are still out of style. They still cover up a lot of your body. Even if you're taller, go for a smaller, sleeker connector style like this size or smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing bigger than this. Another one too is babes, no ombre suits. Ombre is not in style. It doesn't look good. None of the top 10 girls in the Olympia are wearing ombre. So unless you want to give yourself a disadvantage with your suit, and if you don't care about that, okay, but don't do a patterned or an ombre suit. It doesn't look good.
Yeah. I feel
Fair?
like there's definitely a lot of options and things like that. Just, I would say, really weighing your options, looking at reviews, looking at the actual quality of the suit and the look of the suit. Think about like You are presenting yourself on stage. Buying a suit is an investment. If you spend the money up front for something that is higher quality, you are not going to have to spend more money over time. Or if you go for a cheaper option the first time and you get your suit and then it is not a good quality, it doesn't fit you right, it doesn't look good. Now you're going to have to go to a different company, buy a suit that is made better, and you're probably going to have to incur some rush fees because now you're last minute ordering your suit. So I always say it's not too soon to start looking into it, and it's really
Yeah.
not too soon to order. Like we usually
Yeah.
say 8 to 10 weeks before your show, but like even if you're like, I get girls that are 14, 16 weeks out that are ordering their suit. And it's nice because you have that time to like look at the quality, really find something you like. Like it just like really take your time, because that is one of the most expensive things in, I think, the scheme of like competing.
Yeah.
And you really want to
And
make sure you're
it's fully within your control. It's fully within your control. Your glam, your suit, your hair, your makeup, your tanning, your jewelry, your heels on show day, all within your control. Okay. Exactly how much muscle mass you have, exactly how your glutes are going to look on, show day. You can do your best to execute, but you're not fully in control of that. So yeah, great point, Sammy. Okay, cool. So let's get into like sort of the main topic of the episode, or the juicier question we wanted to talk about. And also in context too, because the timing of it I think is pretty good. So Jordan, who's she's been a top 10 bikini athlete for I don't know how many years now, multi time Olympian. I think I watched her at the prejudging of like the 2020 Olympia, so she's been in it many years. At least 2 or 3 times minimum. So, and she posted some content over the last couple of weeks touching on virilization, which is essentially masculinization from PED use. And it's happening fairly rapidly in the bikini division. Like, I'll be honest, you guys know I talk about this all the time. So, apologies if we sound like a broken record, but I got this question, and so we wanted to dive into it. And so the question that we received, it reads, I was told that most bikini pros take 25 milligrams of Anavar or Primo daily. Is that what it takes? So this is a pretty big question, and I definitely wanted to address it. I'm planning to make maybe some shorter form, like real content, or maybe we can clip some here. But this is a pretty intense, high amount of anabolics. So I would say no, this is not really what it takes, but we're going to discuss this a little bit more. Sammy, do you think we should maybe pull up like the reels? Like, should we watch those for some of the context that we're talking about? And it's tricky too, because this phrase, like whatever it takes, that can mean a lot of things. I think some people think it means drugs, when really whatever it takes to me means like crushing your bodybuilding and doing everything as perfectly as you can.
Bodybuilding.
There's another one too, Sammy. Do you want to look at the other one? It's a lot shorter. She just kind of talks about the actual side effects, which she touches on here. And one thing I'd clarify, so when she's talking about body augmentation, she means some girls are starting to use fillers in their butt. The judges can see that. So nobody should be using fillers in their butt. The judges can tell. The other thing too, and she touches on this in this reel, I'm going to disagree a little bit. She talks about the jaw being the masseter muscle. If you're using growth hormone in general, or just in general, this can also be bone growth. So especially with growth hormone in place, facial changes can be actual bone change, not just muscle. So keep in mind, that's why, like, again, ladies, and when she's saying there's a big difference between what you're seeing on Instagram and photos and videos and what's in person. So like, make sure you guys go to these shows, see us in person, because some of us are bald. Some of us, and I'm including myself, I've got extensions. Like some of us, I've got a deep voice. Like my voice is a little deeper than when I started competing. You need to see these things and understand, so that you can make good choices for yourself too. Bone is not going to go away. So why don't we look at the other one?
I can't hear you.
It's because I turned my mic down while we were watching the video. That's why. No, I was just gonna say, I think that's like a nice little summary of a lot of it. And the main thing that I want to point out is the facial changes can also, it's bone. It's bone. Like when your brow ridge, and this is more, think of like women in bodybuilding at the Olympia level. Right? Where we're not really facially looking the same anymore. Our facial bones, our facial structure have changed permanently. So that's why someone like Jordan at top 10 in the Olympia, that's why you and me, maybe on the podcast sometimes we probably sound like broken records, is because like you and me, Sammy, we're at all these events. We see each other. We see Jordan at shows. We see all the other girls at the shows, and we see what people look and sound like. And it's just the changes are happening so fast that it's those of us like Jordan, like I said, she's been at the Olympia level since 2019, 2020, maybe even 2018. So she's been around for a long time. And women like her, women like me have been doing this for longer. We see the trajectory of the division and we see the changes, and it's like, we're looking out for you, Sammy, just the same way you're damning the girls to not cut their hair. It's like, I'm trying to look out for you ladies who are competing and thinking about these things, but also want to be hot and cute for your whole life.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to just be hot and cute and like beautiful now. You want it forever.
And think too, like, we see as a competitor, right? Think what's the process, right? You go and get your tan before you're all glammed up. That's what we see. We see them when they wake up at 5 a.m. with no hair and makeup done, getting their tan. You, as the spectators, see them hair done, makeup done, glaze on stage with a shiny bikini performing. They're two different people. And like, hey, I'm not saying I look the same before or after either.
Sammy, you're gorgeous. You've got like no makeup on right now, right?
Thank you. But my point, but like I'm saying, like obviously there's gonna be like that's my point. Like obviously there's gonna be a difference when someone doesn't have makeup on to when they do have makeup on. Like it's funny. I always say Toxic uses one of my competition photos as
Your
like
marketing.
book a call with me, and like I usually look like this when I book a call, so it's like who you think you're booking a call with to like who you're actually booking a call with. It's really funny, but my point is, it's like, yeah,
I know exactly which photo you're talking about. It's the one where V did your hair and makeup, right?
Yes,
I know exactly which photo we're talking about.
So it's like, of course, like when you put makeup on and you contour your face, you're gonna look different, but there's a difference between looking different and physically your bone structure is different. Like you can contour bone structure.
Permanently.
Yeah, but it's like like if I contour my cheeks or like contour my jawline with bronzer, when I take it off, like I still have kind of the same jawline. You know what I mean? It's different when you're using makeup to alter your face, or like
you
when
haven't actually changed your face shape. Yeah. So it's wild. So I wanted to actually dive in and explore the question a little bit, because in Jordan's, I just think was good context because she put those two reels out about a week apart. I wrote to her after the first one too, just because I think a lot of her, Jordan's also a tall athlete that I've looked up to for a long time. She's 5'7", so she's one of the tallest at the Olympia each year. And we chatted about it, and this is definitely something that we need to be talking about as women, because the division is only going to continue to get more muscular and more masculinized unless we are speaking up for ourselves too, or at least just bringing this up so women can make choices that they feel good about. So the question is 25 milligrams of Anavar, 25 milligrams of Primo daily, is that what it takes? So right off the bat, I'm going to say no, absolutely not. This is like, that's absurd. But let me explain why. Like, let me just not be a short answer. So first of all, if we're taking 25 milligrams of Primo or Primobolan, right? That's the full name. And again, none of this is medical advice. It's all for entertainment, ladies. Talk to your doctor before you do anything, take anything. And so Primobolan, typically going to be injectable. Every once in a while, you might be able to find Primobolan acetate tablets, but mostly it's going to be injectable. Primobolan is often faked with testosterone or masteron, which are more androgenic. So Primo, more androgenic than Anavar, but less androgenic than pure testosterone. So guess what? You think you're taking Primobolan, you start taking it, turns out it's testosterone. You could virilize very quickly, very, very quickly. Okay. Even regular Primo, you could virilize, but 25 milligrams a day. So 25 milligrams a day, 25 milligrams is like a weekly dose for Primo.
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna say,
closer to a weekly dose.
I don't even think
that's not daily. That's going to virilize you like immediately, because again, think about it. What if you bought that Primo from a gym bro, and what if it turns out testosterone and not Primo? So now you're taking 25 milligrams of testosterone a day. That's 175 milligrams a week. That is more than men take. That's more than men take of testosterone. So the other thing too, ladies, is it's also really important to understand these drugs, what they are, like where you're getting stuff from. And again, just the full suite of risks. So obviously, this question is important that we talk about. So Primo, no, definitely not. And I don't think any bikini pros are taking 25 milligrams of Primo a day. I think they would have to move up to like wellness, physique, bodybuilding if they were taking that much and training hard. Or honestly, I hate to say it, maybe you've got terrible genetics. Like if you are taking 175 milligrams of Primo, you would probably like just fully virilize right away. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend that for anyone. And I don't think any bikini pros are actually taking that. So I'd be curious. I'd be curious to say like, here, who told you that?
Yeah.
That would be interesting. And then 25
Right.
milligrams of Anavar daily. So that is more likely, but that's not an everyday thing. Anavar, and even then, that's a very high dose. That's almost towards like a male dose. I don't really think women should be taking more than 20 milligrams a day of Anavar. 25 is a lot. If it's clinical, that's going to be a little different than if it's from a gym bro. Remember, Anavar most often is going to be faked with D-ball, so Dianabol. So if you're buying it from gym bro, online, a friend, it very likely could be faked and you need to check it. I've seen this happen where people think they can trust someone or they know what they're getting and then nope, it's not that. So it's really important that we're testing because again, if you're taking a compound that is, double or triple the androgen index of Anavar and you think you're doing something safe, you may not be. You may not be. So that's where it comes into play. And remember too, Anavar, like anything else, all of these things are meant to be cycled. They are not meant to be taken continuously. None of this stuff, growth hormone peptides are different. Those are longer term supplements, but those you still take breaks from for safety. So I wouldn't say it's what it takes. And the other thing too that it makes me think is like that question, like, is that what it takes? When I hear that, it also kind of, it bums me out because it makes me think, Sammy, that these women in the sport or younger women or newer athletes are getting the impression that it's all just drugs. And like, yes, the drugs are like, they are kind of needed if you're trying to get to the highest levels, but it's not the drugs. It's the fact that like I don't know how to fully explain this. Like I spent years neurotically tracking my macros, hitting my macros every day for years, being willing to eat 3,000 or 4,000 calories and hit the macros perfectly every day in an off season.
Mhm.
Never cheating on a prep diet, never like being so neurotic and so obsessive, never missing workouts, always doing your cardio. I've become, especially with the gut issues, I feel like I've become very off track and like lazy at times. I think sometimes these new competitors don't realize the level of obsession and perfection you need to take your bodybuilding to. Like that is what it takes.
It's almost like it undermines the actual purpose of the sport. And it kind of sucks because it really puts a different light on bodybuilding. Like, bodybuilding really is about the passion, the intricacy, the dedication, and the resilience to like actually stick to a regimented routine every single day, day after day, doing it when it sucks, doing it when it's hard, doing it when you really don't want to do it. And now it's just like, oh, okay, I have to diet down a little bit. I'll kind of be hungry. Yeah, I have to do a lot of cardio, which that sucks. But if I'm taking all of these, PEDs, then like, oh, I'm a shoe in to win. Like, it's almost like the instant gratification portion of the younger generation, like infiltrated bodybuilding. And it's like,
Yeah.
how do I get there the fastest, the quickest? How do I make an impression? Because like, if I do all these PEDs, like I'll turn pro in 6 months.
Yeah.
And then like, wow, now I'll be like, not only will I be an IFBB pro, but like I'll be an IFBB pro that turned pro in 6 months. So it's like, what new titles can people give themselves? What quick instant gratification can they receive
Yeah.
just to get that title, just to put their name in a box that's up there somewhere? And it
Yeah.
really just like, it really undermines the actual passion behind the sport that so many people for
Yeah.
so long have dedicated themselves to.
Yeah. Well, I think I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. And that was like a very um succinct way to put that. I've never really thought about that, Sammy. Like I see that, like that instant gratification. And my hope is that those people will kind of see themselves out because the reality is some of the women that have turned pro already, like I'm gonna get maybe a little controversial here. Some of the women that have turned pro and fit model are already viralized, like just in the last, month or so. They're already viralized. I can see the competitors, I can see it in their faces, like the big ass jaw that comes out to here, where your face basically looks like a stop sign. That is not gonna go away. Like maybe there's some great surgeons, and I would say maybe a country like Brazil where they can shave your bone down, maybe. But if you've got like a projected brow ridge, your jaw's widened, like that is like you've essentially partially gender transitioned yourself. So
Hmm.
that's what's on the line. And it's like, ladies, if you want to go and win a pro card and ruin yourself, like I'm sorry, but like ruin yourself, ruin your feminine beauty. From this is my opinion, but you're going to ruin your feminine beauty for what? A pro card that you didn't even work that hard for, that you don't appreciate, that means nothing to you. Like my
It
pro card
changes nothing.
I wanted for 7 years. I worked hard for 7 years to get it. I created a life for myself. I created a career and something I'm passionate about. And yes, I've taken on health risks. I've done it in a way that I feel okay with. And if that's your path and you feel good about it, okay, like chase your bliss. We're all adults. We're all free to do that. But I know if it were me and I lost my feminine beauty that is permanent and it's a precious resource. It's a finite resource. You only have so much of it. If you're going to willingly diminish it, destroy it with androgens, you're going to have to live with that for the rest of your life. So you can do that. But some of even these fit model girls, Sammy, like I hate to say it, they're out here ruining themselves. And if you ladies think that men cannot see it in person, men can see it. And like, let's get like really real here. Like, let's go even a level deeper than Jordan went. Some of these girls, and I'm not talking about anyone specific. So please don't think I'm talking anyone specific. Some of these girls, they got extensions all up everywhere, like everywhere in their head, and I'm showing you guys like my extensions. I just have this row that's like back here. They have
Hmm.
extensions everywhere to hide the fact that they're bald. They never talk on their Instagram ever because their voice is deepened and they sound like a man when they speak. They don't show any unfiltered pictures or videos because if you saw their actual skin texture, you would see that they look like a pizza face who used to have cystic acne because their pores are so enlarged from their androgen use. Like ladies, when you're taking androgens, acne is a risk, but let me explain to you. You can get crazy cystic acne that is going to change how your pores permanently, or not permanently, but change how your pores look. I've done crazy microneedling because I'm acne prone and I had acne growing up. I did a course of Accutane about 5 years ago that really helped. Like, ladies, your skin, it's very noticeable in person. Very noticeable. You can hide it online. You cannot hide it in person. We've got filters in Photoshop online. Some of these girls are bald. Some of them sound like men. Some of us, we got crazy skin texture. Mine's doing better. Mine was not cute a few years ago, I would say. So some of these things, it's a lot more extreme. Like the jaws are fucking wild. Pardon my French here, but the jaws are fucking wild. And you see someone like that in person and you're like, is that a man or is that a woman for a split second? Your brain is figuring it out. So do you want to be that person that enters a room and people look at you and for a split second, they're trying to figure out if you're a man or a woman? I'm
Yeah,
already 6 feet
especially in.
tall. Sammy, I'm already 6 feet tall. I do not need people questioning my gender. I already look like a tranny. Like I already am going to get that. So I'm being facetious, but like for real, I'm 6 feet tall. If I look any more manly, I might as well just decide, okay, let me choose some new pronouns for myself or whatever.
And it's crazy too, like there's more than just like there's the clit enlargement too. And it's like
Yeah,
that is something, when you're intimate with somebody,
they're
that's
going to
a like
notice.
I'm sorry, but sexual compatibility is also part of
Yeah,
compatibility. That could be a whole different topic in and of
yeah,
itself, but like, to each their own. If you decide to be abstinent, whatever your personal preference is, by all means, that is your personal preference. You're entitled to it. But sexual compatibility is a thing. Someone you're with, say you're a bodybuilder, and that is something that starts to happen to you, and you're with someone who is not a bodybuilder and they don't know what that is. Imagine
yeah,
how that looks
yeah.
to the person
You have
that
to
you're
explain
now
that to
being
them.
intimate with. You're going to have to explain it. Or they're just going to be like,
Or it's just going to be awkward and you're going to have
I gotta
stress.
go take my dog out, gotta go buy. Like, like it's just for what? To be able to say that you went to Olympia? To say that you turned pro?
Yeah.
Like, what does that even mean to some people? Like, turning pro, like, I can't tell you how many people not in the bodybuilding world I've had to explain what being a pro bodybuilder means because they don't even know. Like, it's not like it's some worldwide top of the line, every single
Yeah.
person in the billions of people in the world even know what it is.
Yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong,
our sport's not on television.
love having the title. It's something that I'm very passionate about. But you have to understand that turning pro changes nothing in your life other than an accomplishment that you have set for yourself, a goal that you have achieved in your life. That is it. And like, by no means am I trying to undermine the title. I'm just really trying to put it in a like blatantly obvious perspective of like, why are you going to ruin your life for a title? Like, would I ruin my life for the title of becoming a mother? Would I ruin my life for the title of becoming a wife? A wife, like a wife, right? Let's put that into perspective. Like, if I want to be someone's wife, am I going to ruin myself to achieve that? Probably not, or no, I'm not. So why would you ruin it for a title of
Yeah.
IFBB Pro?
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I think, whatever it takes, to me, it really is more about the work of the bodybuilding, the passion for it. And the tricky part is just the division is changing really rapidly. And there's a lot of scary things happening. And I think, at least where I'm coming from, Sammy, and I think you are too. So I kind of feel like I'm maybe speaking for both of us a little bit, is just that, I kind of feel like in some ways, like I'm like an older sister figure to other women here. And it's like, we see it changing. I see it even for you, Sammy. I've been in this sport about 5 years longer than you have. You're still, you move really fast, which is amazing, but I see
Still
things that
very
you
new
don't
to it.
see, of understanding you don't have. And it's changing in a very scary, very rapid way. And I do think eventually there will be a correction, just the way that Fit Model came out to provide us more options. I do think that the IFBB cares about our health and safety in beauty. And I think the situation we're in is just not intentional. I don't think anyone intended for us to be where we're at. And I think there will be a course correction, because I do think that the women that want to compete in Fit Model and want to compete in bikini, they want to be beautiful for sure, because that's what bikini is supposed to be. Bikini is supposed to be a beautiful girl on the beach who just has a great tan. She just hopped off the beach. She threw her stage bikini on and just got up there. That's what they always tell us the look is. So I know the other women, I know we all want to be beautiful and look amazing. So why would we make choices that are directly in conflict with that? And if there's some type of major conflict going on, this is why it's important that we talk about this. That's why it's important that we understand, we talk about it. So at a minimum, we're empowered to make choices for ourselves. But, the more we talk about this, the more likely things could change too. So I know that I would not want to stop competing in bikini, because I feel like I have to, essentially gender transition myself to be competitive. And I'm hopeful that I won't have to do that. I'm hopeful that I won't. I'm hopeful that Fit Model won't become highly viralized. I see the girls using drugs, and that's absolutely ridiculous, because all you need to do is literally just like work out for that division. So when we're talking about whatever it takes, think about the fundamentals, the training, the nutrition, recovery. So I think this is a good spot for us to call it. We've got more questions, Sammy, but we can always do them with the next episode.
Yeah.
That sound good? Cool. Okay. Well, let's wrap it up here. As always, thank you so much for watching. We love you, the listener. We appreciate your support. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, like the video, share with a friend so we can grow. Share this with your girlfriends. Okay. They need to hear this too. If you got value out of this, your friends need to hear this. Please share it with them. If you're listening on Spotify or any of our other podcast platforms, don't forget to like, rate, review 5 stars. Also share with a friend. This is important info that everyone needs to hear. We love you. We appreciate your support. We'll catch you in the next episode. Okay, let's do a quick screenshot, Sammy.
Take my head.
Yeah. Awesome, babe. Do you have any free time this weekend? Can I come see you guys?
Yeah, we will be
Maybe?
at the race on
Friday?
Friday, but I don't think we have anything Saturday or Sunday. You're more than welcome to come to the race too.
Yeah. I'll hit you up. I think I'm gonna go to the Lifetime pool party on Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll hit you up, and let's start planning some work dates and stuff.
Okay.
All right. Bye, babe.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Yeah. You too.